S23 Ultra or the Z Fold 5? Which one should you buy? That's a good question. I've had quite a few people ask me, so I want to talk about it in this video. Like, kind of, what are some of the reasons why you would want to get this big, gigantic S23 Ultra with the 6.8-inch screen, or why would you want to get this convertible phone with the 6.2-inch screen on the front, or the big 7.6-inch screen on the inside? Basically, it's a portable tablet, which is really nice. And both of them are great for multitasking. They both have good cameras, while the S23 Ultra has better cameras and more camera capabilities. But Samsung did step up their A game. You get 4K 60 on the front and the back over here, and you get the 8K at 30 frames per second on the primary camera as well. So neither one is particularly a slouch. But the first thing you want to look at in this analysis is, of course, price, right? Because they're very expensive phones. $11.99 introductory price for this one. That's the 8GB RAM, 256GB version. And then over here, introductory price $17.99, 256 storage, 12GB of RAM. But here's the thing. You can still, like, as of the making of this video, they're still doing the sales stuff where you can get $1,000 trade-in credit. You can get the free storage upgrade to 512, and you can get 30% off on the insurance. If you're interested, I have a link in the description. So I don't know how long they're going to run that promotion, but my guess is probably won't last a whole lot longer. What's Samsung offering on the S23 Ultra? You can get up to $750 off, and they're currently offering a free storage upgrade to 512 only on the Phantom Black model. I don't know why they've been doing this. I guess they've just been selectively choosing a different color and having it on sale. Maybe to increase sales to try and drive down numbers. I don't know. But $11.99, $17.99. That's a big gulf. That's like $600. But there's another factor that you need to take into consideration. The S23 Ultra has an internal stylus that it comes with. Of course, it has the Bluetooth connectivity, it has the air gestures, and it has more functionality. You can use it as a remote shutter for your camera, things like that. That's kind of nice. Over here on the on the Z Fold 5, you have to pay an extra $100 for this case. Now, you can get the stylus, I believe, on its own for about $50, but this case is their S Pen case, and yeah, it's $100. So that's a cost consideration you have to take into effect as well, if that's what you're interested in. And also, cases are more expensive. You can get a lot cheaper cases for the S23 Ultra than you can for the Z Fold 5. This is the Cryo Armor case, I think, from Spigen. It's great for gaming, great for things like that. Like, the phone doesn't really heat up. Like, you're not going to get a whole lot of heating up with either one of these phones because they both share the same processor, the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, which is basically the most powerful chipset we've ever had. Also, it's very power efficient. It doesn't generate a lot of heat. The only time you might get any warming up really is maybe some extended high-end gameplay or like recording 4K, 8K video. But this is designed to like wick away any heat from it, allow air to go in through these little pores. I really like this case, and you can get it. I've got a link in the description. I think it cost me like $20 when I bought it. And yeah, S Pen integrated into the S23 Ultra. You got to pay extra for it here, so that drives the cost up to $899. That makes it basically $700 more expensive if you want the S Pen. So that's something to think about. Now, as far as day-to-day carry, two things a lot of people care about is battery life and also the cameras. Well, the camera is better on the S23 Ultra, but the cameras are very good on the Z Fold 5. So if you're just a regular camera enthusiast, you just want to snap some photos, either one's going to work out great. But if you really want to reach out, that 100x zoom, the 200 megapixel camera on here, you want all the essential nightography stuff, which they did add nightography here. It's better than the Z Fold 4 at nighttime photos, but the S23 Ultra reigns supreme in that department between these two phones. And you also get the 100x super zoom, all that stuff, or space zoom, whatever they call it now. So yeah, there are more capabilities, and you also get the macro mode capability over here too. So if you really want to reach out and touch someone, if you really want the best night photos, if you really want to have macro capability, and of course you want to save $600-700, the S23 Ultra is the way to go. But again, the cameras over here, they're no slouch. I enjoy the photos that it takes, and it really, just for normal day-to-day photo taking, it takes some pretty good shots. So that's one thing. And then battery life. So you got a 4400 milliamp battery here, which you might think is kind of weird because it's got a bigger screen, right? 5000 milliamp battery, 4400 milliamp battery. That's 600 milliamps difference, but then that smaller battery has to power this bigger screen. But of course, when you're not using that big screen, it's powering a smaller screen. So there is some give and take there, a little bit of a trade-off. It's not as big of a drop-off slope as you would think, but really your battery life is going to depend on how you use the phone. So I'm able to get 8 hours of screen on time with about 20% left on this phone, which is really good, but I've been able to get upwards of 9, even 10 hours of screen on time with the S23 Ultra. So if you want the ultimate battery experience, S23 Ultra is where it's at. And then the Z Fold 5 has been a very, very good battery experience, a much, much needed upgrade over the Z Fold 4, the Z Fold 3, and the previous generations. When it comes to software support, you get an equal 4 years of operating system updates, 5 years of security patches. That's fantastic. As far as I'm concerned, Samsung has been the best in the business for at least the last year when it comes to software updates, so you're good to go there. Now, day-to-day usage. Really kind of a big thing here. So when you use the S23 Ultra, you get this big 6.8 inch screen that you get to use all the time. It doesn't get smaller, it doesn't get larger. That can kind of be a pain in the rear end, because if you look at these side by side, you can see it is wider, it is a longer phone. So it's going to take up a lot of room in your pocket, your purse, your jacket pocket, wherever you're going to carry it at. This is a bigger phone all the time. Now, when it comes to the Z Fold 5, you can fold it in half. So you get a smaller profile, although it is thicker than a normal phone, and it is a little bit heavier. So that's kind of a trade-off that you get. It's like how you want to carry it around. I mean, you don't carry it around like this in your pocket, but of course, you always have this capability. So if you like having that bigger screen experience all the time, then you can go this route. But if you want to have an even bigger tablet level experience, then you can go this route. And whenever it comes to my day-to-day usage, it's really hard. Like, it's really hard to decide. Now, I have all these other phones, so it makes it pretty easy for me. Like, my ideal smartphone that's not a foldable is the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V. I love that phone. Great form factor, lightweight, thinner, great, all those cool things. And then I carry one of these as usually a secondary phone. I always have a foldable phone with my SIM card in them. Now, I have 3 SIM cards, so I'm a little bit different than most folks. But normally, I'm always carrying 2 phones. And I've been doing this since even before I started making review videos about phones. So I've been using lately my SIM card in the Pixel Fold. I've also been carrying the Z Fold 5 with the SIM card in it. So I've been carrying like the Z Fold 5 and the Z Fold 5 and the Pixel Fold together, which is kind of an interesting video that I'm going to set up for a couple days from now. But yeah, I like foldables. I think they're here to stay. I think they're much more durable now. Now, they did redesign the hinge on this. It does close flat now. You don't have a gap in between the screen. It's got IPX8. What does that mean? Well, when it comes to the IP and then you see the 2 numbers, normally you get an IP68, which is what you get with the S23 Ultra, which means it prevents against dust and then water. So the first number is for dust, and it's a different number. Like, you can take a look at the Moto Razr Plus, it's IP52. So it has decent dust resistance, but it has very poor water resistance. So the first number represents dust, the second one represents water, and they're not equal. So IPX8, no sand, not rated for dust or sand resistance, and then IP68, which is the highest that you can get in a phone, which means that you can drop it in the water up to 1.5 meters and leave it in there for half an hour, and it should still work. And you can do that with both of these, surprisingly. But they put a special coating on the internals inside of here that kind of helps in case you drop it in there, but that will wear down over time. So don't drop it in the water. Don't take it in the pool. Really, no, don't do it. So those are really kind of the big things. You know, battery life, we talked about that. The stylus support, we talked about that. Price, we talked about that. Camera, and then kind of day-to-day functionality and usage. Now, I really enjoy using my tablet level functionality in the evening time. I use it some during the daytime when I'm sitting around and not doing stuff, but the biggest for me is when I have downtime or in the evening time. I watched 2 movies on my phone last night. It's so nice being able to just lay there in bed or sit on an airplane. Like, I love this. This is my go-to phone on the airplane. I sit there, I prop it up, and I have this nice big screen experience like a tablet, but I don't have to worry about throwing a tablet in my backpack. So if you travel a lot, and if you like to watch and consume media, if you like to play games, kind of nice. So those are just some considerations. Of course, the S23 Ultra, fantastic phone. I think it's the best normal Samsung phone has ever made, and it's probably the best Android phone on the market right now for most folks if you want to buy that high-end, premium, crazy expensive experience. I mean, this is a great phone. This is a great phone. They're both fantastic. They both have great things going for them. Really, it just kind of depends on your lifestyle, what you want to do, what kind of money you want to spend. Because again, very expensive phones. $11.99 introductory, $17.99 introductory. And you're going to be paying for that for a while. You might have a pretty high monthly payment. Definitely look at trade-ins, look at your carrier deals, see what kind of stuff Samsung's offering. Wait till they have sales to maximize your deals. But yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. So if I were to carry one on a day-to-day basis, which would it be? Yeah, as much as I like the S23 Ultra, I'm leaning more and more towards carrying a foldable as a daily primary phone. If I were to choose between these 2 phones. Now, other phones might be a different conversation. Like, I really love my Sony phone, but the Z Fold 5 is definitely the best foldable phone that they've ever made. They've made some improvements. They've tightened things up. They made it a little bit lighter. And that Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 just really goes the distance. And also for gaming, you get that great gaming experience. I mean, you can, of course, play on this one, and it's fantastic. But being able to play video games on a screen of this size really kind of takes things to the next level, right? So that's pretty much all I got in this video. Hopefully this was a nice kind of compare and contrast some of the benefits, some of the pros and the cons that you get with these phones. But the best thing is you really can't go wrong. They're both fantastic. And also, if you ever decide you want to buy one, Samsung is a great place to do that. Not trying to say, hey, go buy from Samsung. But a lot of people, when it comes to expensive phones or these foldable phones, you kind of want to have that grace period where you can go, okay, hey, if I buy it, can I return it? And it's not going to cost me money. I don't have to pay an upgrade fee, all that crazy stuff. Nice thing about Samsung, if you buy a phone from them, you get 14 days to return it. There's no restocking fee, all that great stuff. So just some food for thought. That is kind of a nice way to go, because if you buy it from Best Buy, restocking fee. You buy it from your carrier, restocking fee. And those things can be kind of expensive, mess with your phone plans. Unlocked is always nice, because if you buy it also from Samsung, you can get it unlocked. You can take it to any carrier you want at any time, and that's a cool thing too. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, of course, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. As always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.